justifications for the cost that we want, great, bring that up when we're doing the budget amendment, and we're actually, it's a different process. It's actually an amendment that we, I believe it's attached, is it to an ordinance? It's attached to an ordinance, and it requires it requires a 2/3 vote. So it's just a process. So great, bring all those arguments to the table when we're actually amending the budget.
Go ahead, Janet.
Process doesn't come into play unless there's a budget overrun. You have not demonstrated that we would exceed the budget yet. So if you can do that, then we could have the conversation. But even,
Okay, I'll
but,
be happy to
but,
do that.
but even so, for people that want us to be fiscally responsible, we now have 4 people. We have both the Cirquas, Patsy, and the existing finance clerk. 4 people involved in this function, right? So I'm not sure where the fiscal responsibility is in that.
Go ahead.
And the 3 will be cheaper than half of the 1. So I don't think you made yourself a very good argument there. We've got both of them working for $40 an hour, which is almost half of what Timothy was getting paid. And he was billing 30 hours a week and was not able to get reconciliations done. And that went on for many, many months without anyone stopping it. And then Patsy's going to get paid $3,000, I guess, or whatever we are getting paid. Is that right? So add all this up, and the argument that you're making is not, is ridiculous.
Oh, sure, Frank.
Can I address Trustee Hoffenberger? I just have a
Sure.
question,
Sure, go ahead.
and it's a simple question. If this was always a concern of yours related to budget and whatnot, why didn't you bring this up when we agreed to hire Russ?
I think I just explained that. When Russ was
You
hired,
did.
he was hired at $40. We knew we were getting rid of Timothy, correct?
She's brought it
Yes.
up before.
There was no risk of us going over budget. There was no way in the world that Timothy was staying until the end of April. No way. So his
That
40.
wasn't decided, though.
It wasn't? You mean it wasn't decided back 3 or 4
The exact
months
timing
ago?
of it was not,
The-
no.
There was never a plan to have him here until the end of April. So, but fine, we'll have that conversation now. But there's not a single thing that's happened here that's been over budget. But you add that $84,000 and it is over budget. I don't know why that's hard to understand. It's math.
Because if Tim would have stayed even for a couple months, we would have been over budget.
He wasn't going to stay,
But he didn't stay.
and he
We-
didn't stay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had agreed.
I think I
so
made my
are you-
point. I
well,
think
are
I
you
made
s-
my point.
That's
I'm-
fine. Are you suggesting that we were going to keep him for 2 more months? I don't think anyone any of these trustees had any expectation of him staying for 2 more months. We just got kind of lucky that he quit.
I'd like to call the question.
Okay,
Can I just make a brief comment?
Sure.
To stay in line with the village code, it does indicate in 311, Section D, compensation, that the budget officer's compensation shall be fixed by the president and board of trustees from time to time. So if you are carrying over Mr. Circo's current hourly rate, you can do that, but I would include that in the motion. I was also asked about Section 179, which has been discussed tonight, the nepotism policy. The way, in my opinion, that it reads, it would be this portion of the village code would apply. So I think at the very least, you should have a statement indicated in the motion that you're aware of the section and that you are still making the appointment.
Did I make this one? I made this one. All right, then I would amend my motion that we set the compensation at the current rate of pay, $40 per hour. And then I would put an acknowledgement in there that since there is no supervisory relationship between, I guess, him and his coworker, in this case, that the nepotism policy is waived.
okay. Any more discussion? Okay, roll call.
Trustee Millet?
Aye.
Trustee Hassenberger?
Aye.
Trustee Benetti?
Aye.
Trustee Boatner?
Aye.
Trustee Burson?
Nay.
Trustee Muir?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Discussion items. Yeah, Mike, go ahead. You're on a roll,
I am on a roll.
that's for sure.
All right. since, thank you all for your consideration on my proposed compromise, I guess I'll stay.
Thank you.
One thing that has been, actually, I think it came out of a conversation with Trustee Hopsensberger that I had. I would like consensus if we need to do it as a procedure, that we adopt it and direct staff to give us some example. Every time we get a board item that has a financial impact, it should have a specific section that outlines that financial impact. And I'm not sure exactly, maybe I am. If I'm wrong, we have two things. Our responsibility to our budget for the Budget Act is generally a department level or a fund level. And we have set up within that line items. Now, when we adopt the budget as a guidance document, we should respect that. Often we think they're one and the same, and for some departments, they're small, but when we start adding 20, 30 cost centers per department, if somebody comes in and chief wants to move something up, he comes and say, I want to exceed line item 5,003 by this much, but I anticipate, or I will deduct line item 6,002, whatever the cost centers are, because it's still within the fund of police services. And that's what we're chasing for the fiduciary responsibility we owe to the state. It's like when we had the appropriations budget, we couldn't appropriate more. That's what triggered our need to have we would have to do another appropriations ordinance. By going to the Budget Act, we have the budget amendment is our mechanism, as been mentioned by a bunch of us. And so by doing this, we would be able to know ahead of time, based on what report we get from staff, what they're doing. I've done this since I've been a director. I don't know why I hadn't thought about it sooner. I apologize, because it's maybe because it's so second nature to me. But even if it has no impact, it says so. It says, this has, no impact, or this will be under $5,000. It'll be the authority. It'll be the president's spending authority, administrators, whatever the case may be. But I'd like to see something. I think we all agree to that. If not, I'd be open to other ways of doing it. But I think that would be effective.
Okay, thank you, Mike. So Tracy would like to add something very quickly.
When I used to work here and did board summaries for the village board, there was, the memo has what the issue is, the background, the reasoning, then there was a line item where you would put budget or GL that's affected by it, then with the action that's requested. So if we just reinstitute the summary memo on the items, that'll be on there.
Good. Thank you, Tracy. Okay, Janet.
Completely off topic from all of the rest of this stuff. Trustee Benetti and I went to meet with Dave Petzold at Shodine a week or so ago. It was very informative. Everyone is invited. I mean, I think we've gotten calls, at least some of us have gotten calls from Administrator Rooney about this. And so I don't know who's had a chance to go yet or not, but if you haven't gone, I would encourage you to go. If nothing else, we can compare notes one-on-one and see that we got the same story.
Where are they going?
To visit Dave Petzold at Shodine.
At Shodine's building?
He'll meet you at coffee or in the building.
Anywhere you want.
Yeah, go ahead, Kim.
Yeah, so I have reached out to him, but he's out of town for
Yes,
at least a week.
that's
So don't anticipate anything till next week.
Yeah, I would reiterate, you should talk to him, because he gives you a lot of insight on what they're dealing with on their end and what some of the challenges are. So I think it was very enlightening, so.
Okay,
I have one last comment.
sure.
Trustee Millette had a set a record tonight for motions and amended motions, so I just want to thank him for all of that.
Does he get an award? Sure. Yeah, if you want, sure. Okay. Of course you did.
I want to see you do it to yourself.
All right, let me stand up. All right. Oath of office, village treasurer. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
Let her speak, yeah.
I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the
State of Illinois, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of village treasurer
And I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the village treasurer
of the village of Campton Hills
the
according to the best of my ability.
of the village of Campton Hills to the best of my ability.
Okay. Yay.
You may regret this yet.
Nah, I don't think you will.
And then Tracy, you'll get Bobby
Yes.
set up tomorrow. And then, if Michael Dwyer's gonna be doing the, transfers, he's gonna need to be on.
Yes.
We didn't adjourn yet, just so. All right. Okay, thank you, Patsy. Congratulations. Wait, Michael O'Dwyer has something he wants to say?
Microphone. Sorry, Mike.
Michael O'Dwyer, he's going to say something.
And then, I don't want to be the
Mike
last
and
person, because I
Janet?
don't want to be the doggy downer, but, sorry. Well, you don't have a finance person, so I got to give you some guidance, and take this with a grain of salt, okay? Your current 7-month, because that's the only document I could see, budget, extrapolated. So I took the numbers, the actuals, divided by 7 and multiplied by 12 to extrapolate them out, and compared it to the annual budget you guys have. You're gonna go over. Under that method, take that with a grain of salt, because that doesn't mean you will go over, it just, I'm giving you, there's a warning flag going up. Okay, under that method, the police would go over by 57,000, that doesn't mean you will, but right now, if you trended it, that's what would happen. B and Z would go over by 100, for $102,000. Community, forget it, it's close enough. The board actually would be on target, actually under by $100,000. Maybe not with some of the changes that just recently happened, but that's what it's gonna tell you. And a couple other minor things, but it would total up to just over $100,000 over. Here's the great news, it doesn't have to happen. You just gotta be aware and take things into consideration for the next 4 or 5 months, I guess, because this is only 7 months. So we'll, as a finance committee, commit to get information to you guys, have conversations with all of you, come to board meetings appropriately and try to answer questions to keep you guys on track.
And
Yeah.
Michael, if I could, we'll show you some of the escrow repayments for HR Green
Okay.
and Kleinthorpe and Jenkins,
Yep.
MGT, et cetera. So you'll see there's relief that you didn't
So
see.
you've got money that's gonna move out and come out against the escrow accounts,
Yes,
that's gonna
yes.
happen, but right now they're in the budget?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, that's what
And
we need to know.
and Mike,
Thank you.
I'd suggest you meet with Chief, because we are taking on a lot more roads with all our annexations.
Thank
We
you.
annexed Harley Road as well. That came with the last annexation, so now you got Kesslinger and Harley, and probably in the future Brundage as well. You've got Brundage, there you go. Yeah. Okay.
Well, hopefully you get some.
Yeah, and I think to the board's defense a little bit is we did ask that question of Tim the last time he was here, and he did tell us that the spending varies month to month in certain things. So I don't know when you did the numbers, if you just took like a global or if you took salaries or
I took the totals. for
the
each of
totals. So
budgets. Yeah.
we asked the same question because some line items looked like they were maxing out, and the explanation was that there's gonna be certain months coming where there's no expenditures on those line items. So whether that's accurate or not, I don't know, obviously, because
you
that,
guys
I'm just going off of
listening
what
to
we were
Frank,
told,
or-
but we did ask the
I mean-
question.
Yeah, well,
So
Patsy and I will work together to make sure communication's going back to you guys on where we're at.
that'll be key.
Thank you, Mike. All right, we have additional items. President, trustees, attorney. Attorney has a report. Carmen, you have a report?
Yes, I put a brief memo in the packet this evening. There's a Senate Bill 2740. It is in its infancy. It was just, I think it was just introduced 2 weeks ago or so. It proposes to provide home rule powers, essentially, to non-home rule municipalities by an ordinance of the corporate authority. So I just put a summary in the memo of generally what types of powers that could include. It would not require a referendum. You know, I got a couple questions as to whether or not this bill would pass. I mean, I can't say, but it was introduced by the Assistant Majority Leader in the Senate, so when I see that, it speaks to me that the party could have some support behind it, and given the fact that it's the majority party, that they might be in support of it. The first time we noticed it, it came through on the IML reporter. The IML is obviously in support of it, and there have been no witness slips filed yet. There's still quite some time for that, but I imagine that the IML will come out much in favor of it and might encourage local municipalities to as well. There, obviously, from public perception and optics, there are pros and cons. Home rule versus non-home rule from a non-home rule community is often a hotly contested issue. So if and when the time comes, there could be a decision that you may need to make if you want to take action on it. You don't have to, if it's approved.
Okay, any comments for that discussion? Mike, go ahead.
Do you know how close it is? Because Steve Anderson, 10 years ago, ran a home rule light bill. Have you had anybody take a look at it to compare the two? Because that one I'm familiar with.
Not yet, no. But we
Forgot
can take a
about
look at
that.
that. Yeah. I mean, it's very,
Metro West.
it itself, I think I included it in the packet.
I know,
It's
that's right.
it's a very.
Focusing on other things, sorry.
It's a very short amendment. But that's a good point. We'll look at the old one too.
But potentially a lot of new powers and authority that you don't have now.
Right. Yes, and a lot of it's police powers. You know, most people hear home rule and they think, oh, that means taxes. Yes, that means that you can institute taxes that are not specifically laid out in the Constitution, but really it's regulation of properties, what we say police powers. So, you know, having a little bit more control and licensing businesses, things like that. Yeah, so, I mean, a lot of it is just not being bound by the four corners of what the Constitution says or the Illinois Municipal Code, but giving you some creativity on regulations and
Thank you,
expanding your
Mike, and thank you,
programs.
John, for volunteering, and thank you, Russ, and thank you, Julie, for being here, and Patsy for agreeing to run for treasurer. Thank you. Appreciate it. And, all right, motion to adjourn? Moved by Treese.
Second.
Second by Frank, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And no closed session, so yay.